Stop talking to me about electrical engineering. Stop talking to me about firmware engineering, embedded systems. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know why it's doing it, and we're going to fix it in this video. But every time I am trying to get a document which is explaining concepts to me, Claude continues to always use electrical engineering and firmware engineering to try to tie back the concepts that I am struggling with in software engineering back to something that I know, right? And so I'll show you what I mean. So let me make myself a little bit smaller. Here we are. Okay, cool. So here's one of the documents that I have right here. And so the way that I do it is in my project, I have this documentation folder, and I want Claude to not build anything in my project. I want it to come in, analyze my project, figure out where are my conceptual gaps, what am I doing wrong, give me suggestions, all of this kind of stuff. And then create markdown files in each of these and be able to do full lectures. So the idea behind these lectures is that it is going to be able to help me fill in the gaps that Claude has identified that I am struggling with or weak on, whatever it has noticed, or that I have myself identified. Now, I make this more personalized by coming in and I have my ClaudeMD file right here, which tells it kind of who I am and about this persona.md, right? So I'm trying to give it who I am and what I am trying to do. So like never change any of the actual code. You're allowed to run the code, and then creating the markdown files, the format that I want that, all of this, right? And then what each of those documentation folders does. Now in my persona.md, I give it like who I am, right? So I talk about being a firmware engineer and the or the like expertise that I have so far, and about talking like my degree is in electrical engineering, all of that. So I have all of my information there. I also said that I am learning or that I like analogies. Okay, so it put those two things together. But what I actually meant by analogies was I like to have like personified analogies of components. So a really good uh, example that I had a little while ago was in the last project that I was also doing on YouTube, but I was really struggling to understand entity framework migrations. I was like really struggling with that. And then I got an analogy that personified. I was finally able to ask the LLM in the correct way that it gave me a really good response. And it personified each of the characters that of the concepts that I was struggling, who they are, what their purpose is, all of this, and how they're interacting, what their goals are. And by reading that analogy, I was then able to conceptualize it. So I'm not trying to get an analogy to firmware engineering. I'm trying to get an analogy to personification. So we are going to try to find where that's actually listed. Um, okay, so did I put this in here, or is it in the Claude MD that I said stuff about analogies? So when teaching, um, I'm guessing alternate. Okay, so it was probably going to be there, or um, when assisting me. Okay, so maybe I will have in preferred learning style. That makes sense. Um, so I'll say um, analogies, right? Okay. Then, sure, star. I can say The type of analogies that I like are the ones that personify the concepts which I am struggling with. Okay. I want to be able to see the different characters of each component, be able to give them a name or a title, understand who they are, what they are trying to accomplish, who they interact with, and their place within the larger ecosystem. Okay, so hopefully that will we'll be able to get more targeted analogies. So let's even though it's a small change, git commit changed persona.md to give more accurate, more high quality analogies. Okay. So yeah, like right here, you can see it. Here's one of the lecture documents that I created. And it's always talking about embedded. So talking about I2C. That's not the kind of analogies I want. I want the analogies of like personifying the actual characters so that I can understand who's doing what, how everything is operating. Okay, so now that we got that done, let's come and actually start working on our project. So I actually have two things now open. So this one is going to be the other window. And the reason that I'm having two now is because I created a virtual environment within this VS Code instance, and that way I'm able to select it as the interpreter. And now I have autocomplete, so it's really nice. But anyways, so what we were doing is we were trying to create the different architecture within this. Now the problem is going to be I have to switch between these two. So come down to the timeline implementation. So we're trying to today go through and get these different components within the LangChain architecture. So prompt messages, models, and memory chains, regs, all of that, right? So we were working up here, but I can't really open it in this one anymore because we are having the interpreter here. So anyways, so we were trying to get the models and we were working through it and getting some like going back and forth, and we're doing this right here and trying to adapt it for our specific thing. So let's kind of go back in here and see how we can adapt this for our specific calls, right? Okay, so what we're trying to do is this base chat model, we are going to be trying to either pass back a mock, or we are going to try to communicate to the Olama container. So I'm going to remove a lot of these like comments now because I've actually generated the lecture notes for those comments. So this one I already understand, so we can get rid of that. These ones are all good, and I need to make sure that you go away. Okay, cool. So the thing that I want to do is this get chat model, right? It is going to return the Olama chat. Now, eventually I do need to put this into a different function, but for right now, I'm just trying to get things kind of up and running. So, okay, fine. If it has a model, then we don't need to do anything, right? But if it does not have a model, that's when we need to do something. So I need to say, instead of if it does have a model, if not has model, now we need to actually go and perform the operations, right? So now we need to send a post request to our Olama Docker container telling it to pull the requested user's model. And then to do make in the future, I will need to secure this so that only accepted models are allowed to be passed in by the user. We're not going to worry about that right now, though. Okay, so model was not found in Olama. Okay. And then we're going to say that we're going to pull it, right? So, let's see. Well, I should have done it here. There we go. So, this pulling model now. Okay. So, now what I want to do is I want to send the post request, right? So it should follow very similar. So before I go and look at the Gemini stuff, I'm going to try to see if I can figure out what we're doing up here and do a very similar thing, right? So I want to use this request. So I'm still going to be doing, is it going to be a get or a post? It's going to be a post, right? So I'm going to say response is equal to request dot post. Okay, and now the URL, which is going to be the Olama base, right? So I need this going to be an F string and os.getEnv here for my Olama base, which I no longer have access to because it's okay. Not the mode. This one. It's gonna be the exact. I can just pass in base URL. Oh wait, no. Sorry. Not this one. Wait, yeah, yeah, base URL. Okay, fine. So instead of u, I'm gonna do base URL. So base URL, okay. And now from this, I want API, and then I think it's pull. So I'm doing a pull request, or I'm sending a post request to this pull API location, but then we need to pass in JSON, right? So, okay, timeout maybe. All right, so then I need to pass JSON. Okay, so assuming that I get that, we have now told it to pull, and I need to wait, right? So actually, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Let's look to see how we do this. Okay, so I see. We create a payload like the interesting. Okay, so payload is going to be equal to this JSON here, and now what do we want it in it? We want model is user desired model, right? And we're not validating it right now. Right, stream is equal to false, and this is what's going to cause it to so setting stream to false will cause this to wait until Olama has finished fully pulling the model. Okay. All right, so now we send the post request. Yeah, that makes sense again. And we're still in this try, so we should be okay. So, okay. Post request here, JSON equals payload, and we don't need to like stringify it or anything. So timeout is none. Okay. All right. So now I say payload is equal to, no, JSON is equal to payload. Timeout is equal to none. Okay. So, and then I can put the comment, timeout none to avoid timing out for networking when we are pulling and downloading a large model. Okay. All right, so we get that response, right? And now we need to check if it's a success. Yeah. Okay, so if we, okay, so now if response.body, no, okay, .json, okay, .get status is not equal to success, then we can just print unable to find or unable to download model, and maybe throw error. Assert false. Okay. All right. Now we've done that. Okay. And so the model has been pulled. So I can say, right? And the more I think about this, the more I really think that it does need to be a separate method or separate function. So I'm gonna call, yeah, okay, fine. Within models, I'm gonna create another thing which is called, what do I want to call this? Like, in pull, instructions.py, sure, okay. Now, so within this, I am going to take all of this code and I want to pass in the desired model and the base URL, right? and I need to get back true or false, and yeah, I think so, something like this. So something like def and then try pull, or maybe try get Olama model, right? And now we're going to have desired model is going to be a string, and what else? Base URL is also going to be a string, and we are going to return a Boolean. Is that right? Because what are we trying to do? All we want to do is ensure that the model is actually in Olama, right? So all this function should do is ensure that the user's desired model is successfully pulled / downloaded from or inside the Olama container. Okay. So within factory, instead of all this, now I want to do okay. So known pulled here, and because this is static, it's throwing problems. Okay, so I still want this base URL, right? Come here and make this bigger so I can see things more easily. Clear clean everything. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is downloaded names. Okay. I'm gonna, see. Let's check my status and then say get status. Okay, get add here. Commit starting to separate instructions to tell Olama service to pull model. Okay. Okay, cool. So now from here, we should be able to have a little bit more freedom to be able to take this. Okay, let's be brave. Oh, come on. Let's be brave, right? And do this. Okay, so Control X. There we go. And paste you in there. Okay, so let's get our indentations correct. So there we go, should be right. Okay, and I want this one actually to be x, because I want this to be in here, right? So, okay. Base URL, and now I want to say, oh, base URL is actually not going to be there. It is going to be, yes, it is here. Okay. Now I want to call that. So what did I say in here? This one. Okay. Llama model, right? So, okay. Come up here and say from app dot models dot instructions, okay, import this one. Okay, so now I should be able to come here and say this with a string, which is going to be the desired model, so user desired model, and then the base URL. Okay, there we go. So now result is going to be equal to this. If not result, then there was an issue communicating, or there was an issue during the instruction to get Llama service to pull the model. Okay. So what do we want to return none in this point. Okay, so we can't return, or maybe we return a mock. Say, or maybe we return a mock. Okay, but anyways, so from here, we have all of these like desired models. Let's see if we can replace all. So find references, show, rename symbol, and this is going to be element can't be renamed. Awesome. Okay, fine. So copy you, paste you, paste you, paste you. Okay. Paste you. Now, requests here, we can get this and say like that. Okay. Is everyone happy now? So now instead of assert false, we return false, right? Return false, okay? And then if everything is happy, now at this point, we should be able to return true. Okay. I'm feeling a little bit iffy on this, but let's git commit feeling iffy on implementation of instruct Llama function, but will forward and look at it later if later. Just later. Okay. Now, let's assume that that works. Okay, great. OMG. Okay, so this is for the other one. So if we didn't get the result, then there was a problem. Okay. So now we know that, so let's see. As of this point, we know that we do have a model in Olama that matches, right? Okay, so now what do I want to do? I want a chat that matches the user's desired model. Okay. So I want to now come in and I should now come in and get that connection wrapper with Olama using the LangChain wrapper. Okay, so now what I can do is I need to say, like, so chat, what is this? What is a chat, maybe connection? I don't know. Is equal to chat Olama, right? And now we want model is equal to user's desired model, right? Okay. Then what else does this take? Temperature, right? Temperature is equal to 0, and does it take anything else that we need? I think that's it, right? So that might work. Might work. That's fun. That's exactly what we want to hear, right? Might work. So now I don't want this LangChain orchestration because I'm actually moving it to a different folder that I'm going to create, which is orchestration. So, yeah, I think I'm going to actually just delete this entire file. Okay. But later. And we should now be able to, from here, come in and delete this. Because we don't need, oh, we have not implemented this yet. Okay. All right. So within here, I'm gonna say try get Olama chat model and then embedding model. Okay. Okay. Chat model, and then this is going to be embedding model. Okay, so desired model, base URL, let's model might or might not be passed in. I don't know about what I want as of right now. I think to get this project working, I will decide to just hard code it for now. Okay, so I'll say desired model is equal to, whoops, not that. It's going to be here. Okay, hold on. So this one. Okay. Do we need to worry about, oh no, that we did that. Okay. So here. Okay. The base URL is going to be the same, right? And then we're going to want to do we're going to want to see if this is already we're going to want to see if this is already set, right? So I will say up here, actually, would this be a good place for me to have my global dictionaries for this namespace? Like, known pulled Olama chat models, like this. Known pulled Olama embedding models, like this. And not a list, we want a dictionary. Okay, like this. And then say something like this, like if desired model in known pulled embedding models here return true. Otherwise, now we can say, hey, we need to send the post request. So we do this response is equal to requests dot get. We were sending a get request, right? And now the first argument is going to be the URL. So we want the base URL and the API endpoint, and I forgot what it is. Tags. Okay. So tags. And then we'll set the timeout is equal to 10. Okay, cool. Now we got that. What do I want to do? I remember it was something that I was, okay, so raise for status. Oh, I see. So if we are going to, like, if we get a bad response, then we're going to get an error. So kind of what I was trying to manually do here, maybe. So I'll just say response dot raise for status and no arguments. Okay, cool. So should I wrap this in a try get? Okay. And now that I'm doing it for the second time, accept request dot, okay, here. Okay. And now I can say similar, very similar to this. Error communicating with Olama service during embedding during checking of if embedding model is within Olama's container, something like that. Okay. And then we do false. Okay, so now we know that we are, so now we know that we are actually in communications with or that it is not, all we got was the response back. So now we need to parse the response to see if we already have the desired model, the embedding model. Okay, so response dot, and so this is something that I know for myself that I'm really weak on, which is being able to translate between the like HTTP response that we get and like it's a string, but then sometimes we need to JSONify it, and then you do it differently in Python versus C sharp, and then what is abstracted away by the server. Is it like Kestrel in C sharp is going to do certain things, but then Flask in Python is going to do other things, right? So you need to be aware of what is doing what and the different methods available to you for certain operations. Okay, so within this, I want to get the JSON. Okay, so I'm turning the response, which is, would this be the body, right? And now I'm getting models. Okay, so I'm going to put a comment. Remember how I said that I like to use cursor to help me create targeted lecture notes? Comments are a very good way to get it to tell you, or for me to tell it what I'm struggling with. So I'm going to say, I know that I am still really weak on understanding and working with, I'm going to actually make this a triple this. Okay. That. Understanding and working with responses from HTTP requests and responses. Okay. I'll say Python and C sharp have different servers. C sharp is Kestrel, and Python is this Flask. Okay. Both seem to abstract out different things and have different methods available to them. Okay. I might add more, but I'm just trying to point out that I'm weak on it so that it will be able to generate like, hey, okay, you said that you're weak on this. Let me create a section within the documentation lecture notes to be able to help you understand this more. But the more targeted I say here, so that's why I need to add more to the comments so that I'm able to give it more targeted understanding of what I'm struggling with. So response dot JSON, right? Dot. Now we're doing get. So get on, and then we're doing this thing called models and then a default. Okay, so models and the default here. So looking at the way we do this, I am getting a response back from Flask. It seems to be a string, which would make sense. I am then applying the method from somewhere of JSON to it. I am guessing that this method will turn the string into a dictionary object. Okay. In C#, I know that the way I do this is that I will have an object that I create myself. Okay. I will then have my controller pass in the response. The response as an object of that type. So this means that Kestrel is doing the casting itself, and that it is casted to a specific object which I have defined. Okay, in this case, it is not explicitly casted until I do the .json method. Okay, then it is casted into a dictionary. So not a custom defined class which I myself create. Okay? All right, so now then I do a .get method on that dictionary and look for the key of models. Okay. So now the other thing that I can do is, oh, actually, hold on. I just realized that this is also helpful for Elite code because I didn't know in the past I could use this .get key default to give a default. So that means I can throw away default dictionary completely. All I need to do is, if I understand .get, I don't need to ever touch a default dictionary. Okay, So now, the other thing I am realizing is that this response should have other components such as header. What was the other one? Cookies? Something like that. Etc. But it seems it is only the body. Okay. So with my philosophy of I enjoy committing, creating, embedding, polling instructions. Okay, cool. All right, so now from here, now we can do this and we get this response and we need to, okay, cool. So now I have gotten this, and what is this going to be? So this is going to be the responses model, right? And by the default parameter, I can just guess that it's going to be a list. Okay, so model downloaded models is going to be equal to this. Okay, so now I want to check if what? If the desired model is in there, right? I think so. Because I'm in embedding model here, right? And so we did that. We're sending it to this API endpoint, yeah. If our desired model is in Ollama. Okay, so if user desired model in downloaded models, or if oh, do we need to test if we are in the case where we are? Hold on a second. I need to come in here and I need to block something. So if os dot get, okay, and now we need to import os. All right, so now I want to come in here to get env, and I want to say LLM mode, I think it is. LLM mode. If this is equal to mock, then return true. Okay. So I just want to block that, right? And because otherwise we're not, the Ollama service isn't even up. So if we have this, then we don't need to do anything. So actually I want to say if it is not in it, right? Now we need to tell Ollama to download it. Okay, so payload is equal to here, and we want model, desired model, and what was the other one that we want? Okay, let's look just to see. Stream is false. Okay, so model singular, stream false. Okay, so now do a post request. So now I want to say, let's see, response. Maybe I can say pull response, maybe. Okay. Response is going to be equal to, I'm trying to do it without looking or without going back up. I want to do a post request. And how am I doing that? I am doing it through a library, right? That library was called like requests or something, right? Okay. Requests dot, okay. What is this request? It is a library, but I never, but it feels weird. What is the C# equivalent? Okay, so anyways, I want to do a post, and what is the, I want on base URL, okay, and I want to do it on the API and pull, I think it is, and I want payload is going, no, is it payload? Hold on. URL data JSON, that's it. Okay, so JSON is equal to payload, okay, and then timeout is equal to none. Okay, so now if I should be able to do that same thing, like response dot raise for status, okay. Now I have the response, okay. And so if we got the success, then Olama pulled the model. So if response dot, so now what do I need to do? I need to, this gives me an opportunity to practice working with this response object. Okay, I'm gonna come here and go like this. I'm purposefully trying to get it out of my field of view. Okay, so if response, and what do I want to do? Okay, so first step is going to be, it is a string, I want a dictionary. Okay, that's first step. JSON here. It's a dictionary. Okay. Second step. It is now a dictionary. I want a list of what though? List? A list? Or am I trying to, and see, this is why I like doing the comments, because I'm able to do it without looking and really find, oh, you don't understand this here, and I talk through it in my comments so that I can give an example of exactly where I am stumbling. So, or maybe I'm trying to find if it was a success or not. That would mean I want to find, right, status. But how would I do that? Where would I look in this response dictionary? Okay. Dot, where would it be? It would be in, so I have a dictionary. So how do I search a dictionary, right? So, okay, so how do I search a dictionary? I look up the value by the key. So let's do it. Okay. So I have a dictionary, right? And now I am going to look up the key, which is status. Okay. Is equal to success. Okay. If this is the case, return true, else, then just return false. Okay, that's the way that I would think about doing it. Okay, let's see, and then, okay. Dot get. So they're doing get. Okay. So I will say that this is my, I'll come here, I'll do this, right? So we actually got it pretty good. Like this, okay. So now I'm gonna come here and say, below is my attempt. I think it is actually correct as well, but a different way of getting the key. I will use the other way I saw online in case it is safer. But conceptually, I might have gotten it. Okay. So now, instead of doing this, I'm going to say I have a dictionary and I'm trying to get the key of status. Okay. Right, that's how they did it. Where are we? We're looking here. Status. Okay. Yeah. So now from my factory. Okay, so come in here. Get add commit finished writing first draft of instructions in LangChain for Olama. Okay, cool. So there we go. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to come back to here and we're going to try to get this model, right? And then we create this and, right, I was going to look at some of the other stuff to see, maybe it's in my previous implementations, like old implementations. Practice, so the model and the temperature, so that's all we need? Okay, sure. Okay, so from here, okay, well, I can make this a little bit, wait, hold on, what, instructions, and this is one that I can get back to, okay, like that, and then was there anything down here? No, no, okay, cool, and make this like that, there we go. Okay, so now from my factory, I don't need a second parameter, and I can do return chat connection. Okay. All right, so now I am going to either have return a mock model, which we have not created yet, or a real thing from Olama. So now what I need to do is I need to go in and try to understand this mock model, right? So let's, okay, so I was coming in here and I said that I was going to do some research before. So in the last video that I did, like maybe 2 hours ago, something like that. In the last video I did, I finished it and I said, okay, cool. I'm going to do a little bit of research and then make another video, which is this video here. So now, here's what some of the stuff that I was researching to kind of get my head around what we were working with. So I asked it to, because I went in here and I went to some of the files that I was generating in the last video, copy and pasted them in. I didn't even just show you what I did. So I said, can we go over some of the questions I have in this, right? And then, so I just pasted it in. And you can see for this one, it was talking about the prompts. So let me show you what I was doing with prompts in the last video. Where are we? Where are prompts? Models, prompts, here we are. So this one. All right, so prompt templates, right? And so I have all of these questions. And within those questions, right, it says my misunderstandings. So just pasted that in there and said, let's go over that. And then said the same thing, can we go over this one? And then this one was for the models, the one that we're working on right now. So it has a bunch of questions. And then third is I was explaining Docker because I wanted IntelliSense, but I was having a bunch of problems. So with or virtual environments within Docker to be able to get IntelliSense, but then in my higher level project, this one right here, right, the LLM monitor, I have other components like server, which is in the .NET ecosystem. So I don't want a virtual environment for Python, which is specific to my lang chain. And when I created a virtual environment in the past, it was trying to force me to always use this virtual environment, and it was really annoying, and it wasn't even helping me get the it wasn't even helping me get the IntelliSense. So kind of walking through this, the way that we fixed that one was create a separate. That's why I have two Visual Studio Code instances. Target this one for only the lang chain, right? Create my virtual environment, do the pip installations. So now my virtual environment has that. Then come in here and select the interpreter to be the virtual environment Python interpreter. And now I have IntelliSense. And it doesn't affect this one. But okay, so where was I? So reg and data injection. So what we want to do within prompts, so let's go and address this. So we want to have these placeholders in prompts, right? So I want to say, I think I generated lecture documentation, right? Because I said that I generated lecture documentation before this video. So it was in between those two videos. And so therefore it should have gotten it. So I should be able to delete these comments. because it's making it look really like messy right now. But I also want to make sure that I preserve the comments for if it didn't capture it. But okay, so we want to have placeholders. So get policy violated, right? So here's all of these are system things. And now I want to say something like this, which is, we're now going system, okay? And I'm going to say you are, or here is information about our company policy. Okay? So injected company policy. Okay. So we need to do that, right? And obviously, one of the things that another thing that I'm still shaky on is I know that at this time we're not actually invoking it, right? But it still feels weird to use a variable that I haven't declared anywhere and that I'm assuming that another function is declaring, right? It just doesn't feel right. So I'm going to say for injected company policy, I understand that we are not invoking that variable right now, but it still feels strange to be using a variable which I have not declared, and I am assuming will be declared somewhere else by a different file. Yeah, so it just feels weird. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and then my reg needs to actually put that in. Okay, so that'll be dealt with by the logic. So I'm gonna do another to-do, right? So to-do, make sure that my reg system actually injects this thing here. Should I do some logic in this function to raise an exception if it is not present? Okay. So here, there's another one which is called assistant, right? So few shot examples. And then we are going to have something that says, I know that there is something called assistant, but I don't know the proper way to use it. Okay. And then tool, which we haven't done tool yet. We will. It's right there, but we haven't done it yet. Okay. And then okay, so um to do practice using assistant and tool in system prompt. Okay. Cool. Now what? Now go to part 2. So mocking the factory pattern. Okay, so okay. Is it time to commit? Revisiting system prompt file. Okay. Cool. There we go. So that way it has just a very, very nice chain of everything that's done. So therefore your response cannot be probabilistic. Okay, so, oh, I see what we're doing. Okay, so back to factory, and now we're going to be looking at this mock chat model, okay? So, and it's responding to this comment that I'm making here, right? So I'm concerned because I know that my project will have different models doing different things. For example, I will have an LLM judge, a friendly assistant, a tool selector, a policy violation checker, etc. Therefore, my responses cannot be probabilistic wholly through returning a single index of a list. And then I say maybe I can have many different lists based on each LLM type. Or should that be part of the system or other components in my project to their responsibility, right? Okay, so let's look at the response and try to make sense of it and then try to implement it. All right, so therefore my responsibility is not probabilistic, wholly through returning a single index of a list. Maybe I can have many different lists based on each of those LLM types. Okay. So it's saying you hit on a classic testing challenge. If your mock model always returns the exact same string, your policy checker or friendly assistant and your tool selector will all output identical text. And yeah, we can't have that because the violation selector needs to, and that's kind of what we said in our prompts. If we look here, the violation selector, wherever that one is, oh, it's this one here. We say that it needs to output. Your output's first word should be either violated or conformance, and then followed by a colon, and then the reason, right? And then we give 2 examples right there. So if we're creating a mock, we need a response that actually follows that framework. If it is an LLM policy checker, but if it's the friendly assistant, we need something else. Okay, so instead of hard coding a single string, exploit the fact that the prompt messages are passed directly into the generate method. Okay, and so it's talking about, we have an example down here that I am, so here, right, like generate. So this is kind of what it's talking about, and we're going to figure out how we can fit it to our specific project. Okay, you can inspect the incoming system prompt to determine who is calling the mock, or inspect the input variables to determine what mock data to return. Okay. So now, all right, so I'm going to have this thing, which is def generate. Hey, Hey, no, 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 no. You get out of there. Did my, it's off, right? Okay. Maybe that was autocomplete, but that was way too much autocomplete. I don't want that. Okay? We are here to learn. This is a learning process. We are not here to do that. Okay, so we're gonna have generate, and now this is the first is the same thing, self, and now so we're creating this ourselves. What do they suggest that we have? Messages, stop, run manager, and arguments. Okay. What do those do? um, I am still shaky on understanding the idea of I know they are used so much in every language. I don't much about how to manipulate these argument variables. These argument variables. What are they? Where are they passed in from? How do we manipulate them? Etc. Okay. I think it also kind of like scared me because in C you have these. I'm actually going to put that in here. So I think this idea scared me when I was first learning programming in C because it was something with a dynamic like something. I think it had a ... inside of a function which took an indefinite number of items into it. Okay. Like the print f. Okay. So when I first saw it, I didn't understand it and was so confused. Right? But now I am much stronger in the concepts, so I should revisit it. Okay. Anyways, so we're gonna have this, and I actually do just want to put this down below, I think. So I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna go like this, right? I'm gonna put this into this one. So where are my args? Here, okay. Like that. Make sure it's, okay. There we go. So instead here, I want it a little bit more clean. I want to say I want, so let me think about what I want for this method, then I hope it will be clear what I should do. Okay? Oops. So, let's think about it. What am I trying to do? This class this class, come on, there we go. This class is going to give the caller a object which is pretending to be a Olama chat object. Okay. So first meta observation is going to be that I should think about things in terms of contracts. When I don't know what I should do, I should think about the question, what is the contract of this method or class? Okay. So another reason that I'm doing this like meta-analysis of myself is I'm trying to point out to Claude some of my because I don't want it to just say, oh, you have these concepts which you are weak on. I want it to be able to help me grow as a software engineer holistically as well. Okay, so we did that. So this means that I will need to know what type of model the user is trying to get. Okay. This requires me to have a model type parameter passed in. Okay, so let's do that. Let's say parameter, model type. Okay. So what I want to do is now I am thinking about where model type should come from. Okay. To me, it makes sense that it would be in the file that has the standard what? Prompts, like prompts, because this is where this is where the different types of chat types will be enumerated. Okay, so now that makes me want to come in here, right? And I want to say, okay. So, enumerate, maybe? No, I think enumerate is just going to enumerate through it. It's not like an actual enum. Okay, so type def, no. So I want to create a variable which will allow me to have all of the different types of valid chat types. Chat types. Okay. In C, I would do a type def struct. But what should I do in Python? Okay. So I'm going to say, like, how do I want to set this up? Because then based off of that, I need to have maybe mock prompts as well, or mock responses. So types. Chat type list is going to be equal to here, and I'll say friendly assistant, or should these be pointers? I don't know. Friendly assistant. Okay, like that. LLM judge. Okay. Policy violation checker. And then I can say, now I am considering if I should have maybe instead of a list of strings, I should have a list of pointers, and those pointers will go to an object which has mock data, mock responses. Okay, so let me go here, come here, come here, and come here. Okay. So but now I am getting concerned about ensuring decoupling. Okay. Anyways, so let me come and say chat type pointers, maybe mock chat type pointers is equal to here, and then I can say mock assistant, mock friendly assistant. Okay, I don't know if I have to figure out the correct way to spell assistant. Is it with an E or okay, whatever. So mock LLM judge and mock what was the other one? Policy violation. Mock pilot checker. Okay, so now let's create these objects. Okay. You come down here and go like this. So I said that they were going to be functions, right? And or maybe I have them pointers to so these are going to be responses, right? So okay, let's do that. Let's have all of these be responses. Okay, so is going to be equal to a list here of this and this and this and this. Ooh. Okay, I like that. Okay, so here and here and here, and you don't need it. Okay, so now we're gonna get this, and we're going to paste you. Okay, and paste you. Okay, so what should we respond with, right? So friendly assistant is, I wish that I had my whisper flow. That way I could just speak it. I'm trying to determine, like, is it worth just paying for it? Because it's so good. Okay, let me take a sip of coffee and okay, so mock friendly assistant. So you asked a wonderful question. The capital of they always say the capital of France. I don't want to say that. The capital of, I don't know, Oregon. Let's represent. Oregon is Salem. Okay. Thank you for asking about how I am doing. I am doing wonderful. Okay. And then what else? Friendly response. So this is just going to be the actual messages, right? So I should say, what else? I don't know. We can figure that out later. Let's do this and let's just okay, like that. And then this judge is going to say we have not defined, okay, yeah, to do the structure and functionality of the LLM judge has not yet been defined. Okay. This one we'll want to say violated, followed by a colon. The user is requesting dangerous. I really like the way that I set it up here. Followed by a colon example, right? Like this. The user is asking about how to build a bomb, and then this. Do it. There we go. Okay. Copy you and just paste you. Okay. Like this. That's another good one. Okay, so we'll do this again and get rid of you. And then say violated. The user is asking about how to hurt someone. How to hurt someone. This message violates the policies anti-harm. Along with potentially engaging in immediate physical attacks to others. Okay? And the other thing that I want to say is maybe, so I'm going to say to do, right? Now that I am writing out policy violated messages, it is starting to make sense to me that I would want to have the LLM output in the form of JSON so I can get the parameters and see other things such as like violated or not, but also I should have another field which is immediate action required, which would cause a system alert to flag imminent dangerous and actions, which should be escalated immediately to law enforcement. Okay, there we go. So violated here. So maybe it needs to be a JSON, right? But then, what's the other one? Let's say conformity. Okay, so conformance, this one, right? Okay, so like this, and then we're gonna say, okay, this one is fine, and then something conformance is asking about how to, I don't know, cook a meal like this, right? So then this question does not, okay, sure, like that. These two, I guess I'm just going to comment out for now and then delete this comma, and we should be good. So let's, should we save our work? That's fun, right? Let's save our work. Okay. Git add, git commit, adding mock responses for each message, for each chat type, right? So we're gonna push that out. And now we go back to the factory. Woo! Okay, so now, so I'm gonna say, okay, I now went to my function or my file called my prompt templates and added a list of pointers to a list of string responses. Okay, so let's import that. So from app dot wait, did we already do this? Instructions, was that? No, we want prompts. So app.prompts dot my prompt templates import what? We want to import that variable, which is going to be like mock chat type pointers. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need a way to wrap this in the base model, right? Okay, so I'm going to say, I think the base chat model is the, let's see if I can move this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Is the type which is the shape I keep talking about. So I need to find out how I can use that parent object to wrap this custom thing based on the user's model type. Okay, but now I am also realizing that I need a way to map the string model type to the index in my, here, okay? So I might need to go change it to, instead of a list of pointers, to be a dictionary of, a list of lists, pointers to lists, to be a dictionary of the pointers to the lists. Okay, so then I can do the mapping, right? So maybe come in here and say mock chat type dictionary is going to be equal to this, and I now want to have a string, right? So a string for friendly assistant. Okay, and that is going to be to mock friendly assistant. Okay, this, like this. And now we are going to have LLM judge, and that is mapped to mock LLM judge. And now we are going to have policy violation checker mapped to mock policy violation checker. Okay, like this. So now I should get this dictionary actually. And the more that I'm thinking about this, the more I'm thinking that actually I kind of want to move this down. Okay, so X, right? And we are going to move it here. Okay. No. Here. Because, and this is why I'm saying I feel like it's not the correct place to put it, because it feels like these two things. So it feels like the below section is not in the right spot because it feels like these two things above and below are very different, so I think they would need their own file, right? Okay, but we're going to come in here, and instead of this, we're going to say import mock type dictionary. Okay, so now I can come in here and say response. So mock responses list is going to be equal to mock chat dictionary indexed at model type, right? Okay. So let me take a couple seconds of just like, okay. All right. So now that we've have this idea, how do I actually want to like encapsulate it and get it into the correct type? I don't know. So I really don't know how to take this list and put it into a wrapper of the base chat model. Okay, I think this indicates a gap in my knowledge of understanding, possibly with object-oriented programming concepts. Okay. Anyways, so I'm gonna come here, and now let's see how they're doing it, and then try to kind of copy. Okay, so system content. So now, inspect the system prompt text to figure out the persona, right? So we get the persona, we kind of have that. So now dynamically tailor the mock response. So if this, then we do mock text. So we have this mock text, okay? Then generation equals chat generation. AI message. Okay. So let's do that. Okay, so generation is equal to chat generation, and then message is equal to AI message, okay? And now what do we want to pass into here? So content is equal to something. So content is equal to mock response list indexed at rand. So how do we import random? Import random. Okay. So random between two numbers, right? Random dot random. And is it between 0 and, oh, now I need length of, so number of chat types, something like this. Okay. So number of chat types, copy you, come into here. Yeah, so this really does not seem correct. Is equal to 3. Okay. So I also feel like maybe this should be a class now. So number of chat types, okay, like this. So is that the correct way of doing it? I'm not sure. Okay, so static methods here. Okay, so I got this generation. Oh, right, we haven't even looked at it yet. Okay, so we get this generation, and what we want to do is return the chat result. I don't know what chat result is of generations dot generation. Okay. I'm just gonna say I looked at an example for the 2 lines below. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got that maybe. Yeah. So the known pulled models, we haven't really addressed that yet. And then there's another thing which I want to eventually get. Let's just do it right now. This is just kind of getting annoying that I've let it sit for so incredibly long, which is okay, so in my old implement, wait, is this not at the top level? It's meaning to put it inside of my application anyways. Oops, okay, whatever. Oh, right, because yeah, duh, obviously. Okay, so come here and then I want to get my server a little bit. So let me come here, git add commit first attempt at a, what did we just do? Like a chat. So Olama chat factory with mock capabilities. Okay. So now what I want to do is I think I can delete this one. I've wanted to delete this for a very long time. So let's do it. Pull models, you are gone. Goodbye. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to come into, let's do it. Commit deleted pull models script because the LangChain service will now be responsible for processing users' requests for particular model types and requesting Olama to pull models if not found. Okay. There we go. Cool. So the next thing is within this server, and this is a little bit off topic because we're going back into the .NET ecosystem, right? Then controllers, and then if I come in here to this, right, we have these things here, which is ugly, and it stops us from being able to cleanly do a Docker compose up, and I don't like it, and it's terrible, and it is needing to be investigated. So I'm going to come in here, .NET and LangChain. Okay, so cool. Let's come in here and let's say, here is my current controller. Can we address my questions? Okay. So paste you into there. I just want to get this fixed. So that way we can actually compile all of this, get our DLLs, and then be able to just see if things work, right? And yes, it does take a very long time because my system is very slow. So let me take a sip of coffee, and there we go. Okay, so submit you, and all right, so what is string content actually doing? So new string content serialization, is this changing the string or adding metadata? So the UTF-8 changes the data format into something the network can handle, okay? In C#, a string is in your system memory is a series of characters stored in UTF-16, okay? The network wire doesn't understand C# objects or characters. It only understands raw bytes. So this acts as a translator. It takes your high-level text and serializes it into a specific stream of zeros and ones matching the universal standard UTF-8 text on the web. Okay. What is string content? Is a wrapper class designed to bundle three essential things together. String content. Where are we seeing this? So string content here, right? So the raw, okay, no. Here. Why does string content work when post async wants HTTP context? You observed post async expects this parameter, but when you passed it in, this is a core pillar. Oh, it's wait, no. I was about to say it's interface. No, it's inheritance. Okay. Um, I think what I actually want to do is because my I can tell that my brain is just kind of like being really tired right now. I want to take a little bit of a break, come back, do another video, and just like I did in the last time, I want to analyze what I did and do some research. So I'll read through this, try to understand it, then come back in the next video, then we can go and attack this one, get this working, and then we'll probably go back to our lang chain stuff. So that's going to be this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, subscribe. I would love to have you around and we can do this together. I will be right back with another video. So the third video today. So yeah, my name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I'll see you guys very soon.